Let's get underway.
Welcome everyone to Underway. We have an illustrious guest for you today. She's a native of Kansas, a fixture in the U.S. youth national teams, the latest Kansas City Current player to score a goal, and is able to do all of this while being only 18 years old. The name may be short, but she's anything but. It's Mary Long. Mary, thank you for coming on today. How's everything going with you?
It's going well. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So we have you coming in today off of the back of the Teal Rising Cup, where the Kansas City Current, Chicago Stars, Palmeiras, and Corinthians all competed to raise a trophy. And spoiler alert to anybody living without Wi-Fi, but KC came out on top, and you scored your first professional goal in the final, which ended up being the decisive goal. Hollywood ending. Off the bat, how was that experience? Number one, playing in a final, and two, scoring and ultimately lifting that trophy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both games were amazing. It's always so fun to get on the field. I think these two games, there are a lot of players who got to play who we haven't seen yet this season, which was super fun. And obviously we did win, which made that even better. But I feel like it was a great tournament. It was really fun to play Brazilian teams that we've never faced before.
Mhm.
They brought something different that you don't see in the NWSL, so that was really cool. But the feeling scoring that goal was pretty amazing. So
Yeah,
overall, yeah, it was great.
yeah. I mean, it. You could just see like the rush of jubilation over your face when you scored. What was it like to finally get it in the back of the net?
Yeah, some of my friends make fun of me because they always tell me that I don't smile a lot when I'm playing, which I don't think that that's true. But
Yeah.
they said that's the first time they've seen me express like real joy. So it was definitely a good feeling. And I obviously Michelle Cooper played me a perfect ball, so she made it a pretty easy finish for me.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that strikes me when you play is just how I know it's not effortless, but it looks effortlessly, or you look effortlessly in front of the goal. It's almost like you kind of have like this robotic precision when bearing home an opportunity. How does
Thank
someone,
you.
of course, how does someone, frankly, as young as you, have like the ability to just compartmentalize that opportunity and just go out there and ball?
Well, it's a tough question. I feel like one of the things that I like to live by is like you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. So I've probably taken that shot
Bars.
so many times in training and like anytime you'll see a lot of players on our team doing it actually, but anytime like we get extra finishing after training, that's always something I love to do because even though it's extra work, it's always fun. So I think just like repetition, honestly, and then you're able to
Yeah,
capitalize on those moments.
that's great. I mean, you had a couple of weeks off during the break, and the first games back where it was the Teal Rising Cup. Do you think having games like these will help catapult the team into the second half of the season?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think that's a good way to continue what we began in the first half of the season, and obviously coming off two wins should like help us continue our momentum going into second half. So yeah, I think it showed the depth of our team these past two games as well, with like all the different players that we have because everyone is so talented. So I think that's good too.
Yeah, and you mentioned it up top, but normally we don't see a lot of NWSL teams play against Brazilian leagues or Brazilian teams in like competitive matches. Can you kind of
Mhm.
describe what, I mean, I know you mentioned like there's a difference, but what are those key differences?
I think you see the Brazilian teams playing just different structures than most individual teams. They're really creative. I think a fun piece as well is like we have a lot of Brazilian players on our team, and even like Bia had played for Palmeiras before playing for us. So I think, yeah, they just play a really fun style of play, which was cool to play against.
You're freshly new to the league. On January 8th, you signed your first professional contract with the Current.
Yes.
What was that moment like?
It was amazing. It was like a realization of like something I've been dreaming about since I probably started playing soccer. So it was like the day it got announced was really cool because and before that I had texted like all of my coaches who I've had throughout my life just thanking them because I think I've been really lucky to be surrounded by people who have supported me. And it was, yeah, it was a realization of my dreams, so it was amazing.
That's great. I mean, you guys are the first class to not have to go through the draft. How was that process like? Were multiple teams communicating with you? Did you kind of already know that you wanted to go to the current?
Yeah, I think like as you mentioned, the draft no longer being a thing, like it's definitely the way I think a lot of the younger players now went into the league is much different than those who were drafted. So, um, I think it would be hard to see myself playing for anyone other than the current right now. But yeah, I don't know how to phrase it, but it's definitely different than when there was a
Yeah.
draft. Yeah.
Just 5 games into your first season, you made your professional debut. Can you describe like what it was like to take the pitch, and did it mean more since you're basically a hometown kid?
I think a little bit, yeah. I think the crowd did cheer when I came on the field, and I don't know if I was expecting that. But I was definitely it's nerve-wracking to play in your first game. I think as soon as I stepped on the field, like the nerves kind of calmed down, but standing there waiting to get subbed in was definitely my heart rate was up. But I think that first game that I played in went pretty well, and so hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll continue to see me on the field.
Yeah, and I think, fans kind of feel a kinship to younger players or players who come up through the academy, especially homegrown or not homegrown, but hometown
Mhm.
players. How's it like playing in front of the crowd?
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's fun too because I feel like every game, like I know so many people who are in that crowd because it's where I'm from. And
Yeah.
just, I think representing your city is a really cool thing that I'm lucky enough to be able to do. So, yeah, I love it. And I love the city too.
I mean, we're seeing more and more over the last 10 or so years, specifically on the men's side, like to push for soccer specific stadiums. But
Mhm.
Kansas City is the first one to build a women's specific professional soccer stadium, which,
Yeah.
it takes an incredible amount of support from ownership and buy-in from fans. What's it mean to see like ownership in the community gather around a team like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say our stadium's the most fun place in the maybe in the world to play, but we have some of the best fans and they really come out and show that every game. And I think like I've heard from other players in the league like they hate playing in our stadium. Like as
Yeah.
cool as it is, it sucks because we have such an awesome home field advantage.
Yeah.
But yeah, to see ownership put that kind of investment into it it's inspiring.
And when you were just 17, which like a literal year ago, you reclassified yourself in order to go play at Duke.
Mhm.
Yeah, what went into that decision to kind of just jump headfirst in? And, were there any, I guess, hurdles that you felt like you needed to jump through and to be playing college level at such a young age?
Yeah, I think I went on I committed to Duke like maybe 2 weeks after recruiting opened, so it's kind of the place I knew I wanted
Hmm.
to go. But then after I went on my official visit in October, and I kind of just had like a light bulb moment of like feeling like I could be there sooner than a year or more away. So, in the next couple days when I got home, started talking to my coaches and figured out it would be the better path for me to just reclass. And then I took 13 classes in my second semester of my what became my senior year. Um, but I don't regret any of it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I highly doubt that you would because you guys ended up doing really well.
yeah.
Obviously, it worked out. How would you describe that season at Duke?
Yeah, it was great. We had a really good season. We won the ACC. We did unfortunately lose to UNC in the Final Four, so that was not don't want to relive that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I had a great experience. I love my teammates. I think we had a really talented team, and some of my teammates are in the NWSL now too. Not playing for the current, but besides Michelle Cooper, unfortunately, I never got to play with her at Duke. But yeah, it was a great group of girls, and I had a really good experience at Duke.
Yeah, and even though your club career just began, you've been a constant with the U.S. Youth teams. You made the roster for the U17 Women's World Cup. What was that moment like when you got the call to come and rep your country and perform at the biggest stage for that age group?
Yeah, that was probably like the only way I can describe it is pure joy. I was never really in the national team pools, U15 and U16 age groups, but I finally got my chance the summer before the World Cup with the U17s, and um, that month at the World Cup was one of the best experiences of my life. And me and one of my teammates, Katie Scott, we talk about it all the time because it was just like such an incredible experience to get to play all those international teams. Um, and then I just recently had CONCACAF for the U20s too, which was a couple weeks ago, and that was amazing as well.
Yeah. And you guys placed third, which I'm sure was disappointing. But I read it was like the
Yes.
best result that the U17s have had in like 2 decades almost. Since then, you've moved up to the U20s.
Mhm.
But I don't think people kind of realize how stacked that team is. Like, there's a good mix of professional players, like people know like Kennedy Fuller and Chloe Ricketts and Katie Scott, your teammate.
Yeah.
And there's star college players like Maya Towns and Izzy Engel. How
Mhm.
special is that group of players that I'm sure is like they're going to be competing and pushing for spots for the senior team in like a couple years?
Yeah, it's an incredibly special group of girls. And as you mentioned, like everyone is so talented, but I think in CONCACAF and even camps previously and since then we've become really close as well, so that's super fun. But yeah, there's a lot of professionals and top collegiate athletes, so it's a very good squad, and I think we'll be competing to have a very competitive U20 World Cup squad as well.
It seems like you and your teammate Katie Scott are connected at the hip. You guys went to the
Yes.
U17s and U20s, and now the current all together. You guys signed your contract on the same day. Can you explain that bond and what's it like having someone you like figuratively and literally every step of the way with you?
Yeah, it's amazing. I we were actually talking about it the other day. I can't remember when we met for the first time. I think it might have been somewhere in Kansas City, but we obviously spent a long time together, national team, and so that's when we kind of started becoming close. But I'd honestly say she's one of my best friends. And it's also fun to go through this journey with someone who knows, like, is having such a similar path as you. So now that she's 18, we're both in the locker room, so that's been fun too. But yeah, you'll see, we usually take a picture after every game, and I love being on the field with her too, because I think we have this one pass that we execute like an odd amount of like it's the same I don't know how the defenders haven't caught on yet, but hopefully you'll see that more because I feel like national team she knows exactly where to cross the ball, and we always are texting back when we're at camp like Katie crossed me a ball, I scored. It's the same play. It's so fun. No, but I love her, and yeah, she's honestly such a great person too. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's like it's probably nice to have somebody who is your age to go through the same experience with you and to kind of be like, hey, I'm feeling this way after practice, like, and kind of bounce ideas off of each other. That's got to
Yeah,
be
for
great.
sure. Yeah,
Um,
we definitely should like you'll you'll see us either making fun of each other or that's usually the case these days,
yeah.
honestly.
And then we have a couple minutes here, so I want to end it with a game I like to play. There's no keeping track of points. It's basically just like rapid fire off the cuff. This game
Okay.
is called Keeping It Current with Mary Long. Lee Hopkins recently said that you're the last one off the field, constantly fine-tuning every aspect of your game. What's that inner monologue like to get you to work that hard?
Oh, you said this was fast, but these are hard questions.
Take your time if you need to.
Um, I think it's honestly just like all of my coaches and my parents and everyone supporting me growing up, like they always have instilled it in me that if you want to be the best, you have to put in the extra work. And I think a lot of the extra work that I do, I really enjoy doing too. So it's not hard to like convince myself to stay on the field for an extra 15, 30 minutes or whatever it is. And I can usually convince Katie or Alex Pfeiffer or Claire Hutton to do it with me. So we have a fun little squad.
That's great. Who was that one person growing up that you idolized, either the way they carried themselves or the way they went about and played the game?
Oh, in terms of just life, I think I've always idolized my mom. She to me is the epitome of a powerful woman and just inspires me every day, honestly. But on the field, I always admired how Michelle Akers played. She's just absolutely ruthless, and so those are probably my two.
If there's one player that you could play with and take the pitch together, no matter what team they're on, no matter what age they are, who is that player?
Oh, this might not be exactly answering your question, but I would choose to take the pitch with my team now. I
Okay.
think we all know each other very, very well, and they're just such a fun group of people to play with.
And you guys are doing great too, so that game will probably turn out pretty well for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Um, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received and something that's kind of always stuck with you?
Oh, well, that's a really hard one too. Um, I think something that my grandpa tells me a lot, and even my mom now, is just like his favorite saying is the cream rises to the top. So I think for me, that kind of comes in with the extra work piece, but just if you keep putting in the extra work to make yourself better, like people will notice, and eventually, like those who want it the most are going to rise to the top. So I think that really motivates me.
Yeah, Grandpa coming in with the wisdom is always great.
Yeah, always.
The current are having such an amazing season so far, and there's from the outside looking at it, it looks like there's great team chemistry as well. Could you kind of like delve into why you what the reasoning is behind that? Is it just
Yeah,
down to the people in the locker room?
I think it honestly comes down to just we have some like some of the best people on this team and we're always having fun too. So I think you'll see that on the field and in the locker room and at training and we have a lot of big personalities. So it's never quiet. We probably annoy Vladko half the time, but I think yeah, it comes down to just we're always having fun and loving what we do and I think that produces really good chemistry on the field.
Yeah, and you were able to watch the 2019 Women's World Cup in Paris where the US
Mhm.
won. Was
Yeah.
that the driving point for you to want to pursue this as far as you can?
I think definitely. I think it's always been a dream of mine to be a professional and even play for the full team one day. But I think that was a really cool moment of just to experience international soccer because obviously seen games in the US before, but seeing the teams in every country at that level was inspiring.
And last question, you guys are halfway through your season. You just scored your first goal. What are your personal goals to finish out the rest of the season?
I think personally, just continuing to contribute in whatever way I can. And, I mean, hopefully score some more goals. We'll see how the second half of the
That'd
season
be
goes.
nice.
But yeah, but I think as a team, we're looking like it's going to be another good half a season. So I'm really excited.
All right. Well, that has been the game Keeping It Current with Mary Long, and that wraps up Mary's time here on Underway. Thank you again for coming on and sharing your time with us. If this Teal Rising Cup is any indication of the season and career in front of you, I know a lot of people are going to be very excited to follow along. Did you want to let everyone know where they can find you and keep up with that journey?
My Instagram is Mary A. Long, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And like I said, best of luck for the rest of the season. And thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Underway has been brought to you by 818 Productions. Any use of Underway either acquired through podcast or video format that is captured by a third party with proper credentials requires the direct written consent of 818 Productions and must be used in compliance with all requirements and restrictions stated therein.